gonna ruin it.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you not hear the
That's a
punchline?
great one.
It
Yes.
was very good.
Michael, did you not hear the punchline?
No, I did hear the punchline. I said I was able to predict that he was
Okay.
Jewish. I could not predict the punchline,
Oh,
Okay.
but I did hear it.
I didn't. Well, I was just laughing. I was laughing because Joan May was laughing before it was even. She got to the punchline. I figured, it's really going to be a good one.
It was.
Yeah, oh man,
And it was
that's
still
okay.
PG.
Very, very
It
cute.
was seasonal too.
All our jokes are
Seasonal.
PG. After
Seasonal,
all,
right?
No, some are G. I like the PG ones.
yeah, of course, absolutely. So, Jim, anything else in your joke box?
Nothing that I can share. It's not even PG. I tend to go in the other direction.
Oh, you mean
Hey.
that clean, huh?
But I had a client today who had told me he had bought an office condominium, and he was praising his broker because he thought he could sell it. I said, office condominiums. What's the difference between an office condominium and a social disease? And he paused, and this is a doctor. He says, I don't know. I said, you can get rid of a social disease. See, office condominiums are not that saleable. It's kind of a real estate
Cute.
joke.
Very cute.
Yeah, but you got more than a chuckle. It wasn't too
Very-
bad.
I got a couple of jokes in, and I signed the guy up, so I got a new client. He laughed at the right places.
Well, see, very good. Very good. I agree. All right. Stacy added, Rita. Okay.
AI is everywhere.
Oh, that's for notes from the meeting, I guess. Or from the meeting or from the service. Notes to
It's probably a pre-standard note that goes on all her Zoom meetings.
yeah, well, but this has just started.
Yeah.
This is, I think, the second time I saw that
It's the
last
first
week.
time I saw it.
last week. Well, whatever. So I see you have your peanuts thing up there for Halloween.
For Halloween.
I tell you.
Very timely, cute.
We already talked about that though, Sonny. You missed that one.
But I'm
No, I
thinking
didn't
that's
know.
for
I think
grandchildren.
I didn't see the whole thing. I remember seeing the pumpkin, but not the
Yeah,
blonde.
let me get my face out of the way. Now you can see the whole thing.
Right. I saw the, well, whatever. I think that's
Michael,
pretty-
is that for grandchildren?
It's what
That's
for
Michael.
grandchildren.
The screen? The kids love that?
I'm pleased to say I have no grandchildren. I just have great nieces and nephews.
And they love it, right?
And it's much more economical than grandchildren.
Grandchildren.
Woo.
I had a great niece and a great nephew at my house yesterday, age 4 and 2.
Oh,
Brave man.
You got to run around and kid-proof your house immediately.
bet.
Now you just have to go visit them at their parents' house. It's much easier.
Well, they're out of state, so they were passing by, and it was a wonderful thing that they stopped for a little while to see their old relatives.
I hear you.
I hope you had goodies in the freezer.
We had
Children have
goodies.
to be fed.
My wife took care of the kids, and
Of
then
course, that's part of her DNA, right?
of course, and then the mom says, "What I really miss is Lou Malnati's pizza since I left Chicago." So we ended up
Oh.
ordering the pizza for the kids and for us.
Oh, very good. But you can order Lou Malnati's. They ship.
Yeah, they do. I
It's
never
not the
had
same.
success
No,
with the
well, but
frozen.
it depends on how desperate you are, I think.
I prefer Giordano's.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
And I
Sorry.
don't like deep dish pizza at all.
Oh.
Here we go. Shabbat shalom all.
No, it-
everyone.
I think that
Yeah,
the
John.
musicians are back. Remember last week they were at the San Francisco airport.
Marketing, Giordano's, the official pizza of Temple Sholem. Just a thought.
Oh. Yeah, they are back. I wonder how San Francisco was. Remember they
Who's
were
back?
waiting for a ride last week? Nobody's listening.
I'm listening. I just don't know what you're
I
talking
wasn't
about.
there.
You weren't there. Oh, well,
I wasn't there last week.
yeah, I know you weren't.
Well, Shabbat Shalom. We're on page 343. Ozi v'zimrat yah v'yehi Yeshua. 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 Well, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. I don't have to tell you that I think that the most special thing about our entire community is actually our community. And sometimes you could lose that. You could maybe miss that because you're in such a beautiful space that you think maybe this awe-inspiring space is what makes this community special. Or you could hear a voice like our cantors or our musicians playing their beautiful music and think maybe that's what makes this community so beautiful. And of course, those add to it, but it's really us in this room. And the reason why I'm reminding us of this is because we are in a time that's harsh. And this week's Torah portion, well, it begins on a very harsh time. We're right now in this Parashat Noach, the Torah portion of Noah, and it begins in a time that was mean-spirited and cruel, violent, and corruption in the civic community was total. So God had enough and chose one family out of everyone on earth, one family that would start everything again, with an ark and each animal coming on 2 by 2, with 7 pairs of certain animals. And for 40 days and nights, while the world was literally washed away, Noah and Nama and their children and their families floated above the waters. They were miraculously spared. And after the rains abated, Noah went out and sent out a bird. So the rains stop, and Noah sends out a bird to see if there is dry land anywhere. And does anybody know what bird that was? It's not obvious. I say after you've already all shouted it. It was actually a raven. Now you understand Edgar Allan Poe a little better. Because the raven circled all the death and destruction that was still there on the waters of the earth and never came back. And then at that point, Noah has to figure out what to do next. So I had a highlight of my week last week. Amidst such a harsh and hard time, I had this beautiful experience of leading our Sunday morning religious school in our tefillah, so in our prayer service. And it was wonderful because I wanted them to know how beautiful our community is by knowing each other. So I played this game with them that I'd love to play with us tonight. And that's a game that's very much influenced by that really fun thing where you say, what's your thorn, what's your rose, and what's your bud, which is, what is something that's been hard for you in this time? What's something that you're grateful for in this time? And what's something that you're looking forward to in your life? So I did this throughout the service then, telling the story of Noah, and maybe we'll try it tonight. Because you should know the people around you in this beautiful community. And so I ask you tonight, think about, for these purposes, your raven, something that's not so great, that's kind of wearing you down a bit, and something that you'd actually like to lay down just for these next 75 minutes to be able to leave outside, but first to share it in this space. If you could introduce yourself to the person who's near you, and if you're not near anyone, why don't you move to be able to sit near someone during this service? I know it takes a little bit to do that, but I actually know you, and some of you would really, really like each other. And share one thing that's weighing you down a little bit that you'd like to set and lay down just for these next 75 minutes. So wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Well, now that we've been able to lay down what's bothering us, then we make room for the peace of Shabbat, for this shalom, and for the light of Shabbat. That tonight we'll invite some extraordinary college students, Rachel and Ashley, to join us on the bima to kindle the light of Shabbat. It's special to us when you come home. This is nice and loud, so come a little closer this way.
Come on.
Thank you so much. Go to college so that you can go to cantorial school and come back and work at Temple
Okay,
Sholem.
if it's towards that, then you may stay there.
We turn now to page 20 for Lechado D. Tonight we'll be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And as we get to that 9th verse, we rise in spirit and body, and we turn to the entrances to welcome in the Sabbath bride.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor nizachor v'dibor echad hishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha ki mekor haderacha meirosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh v'machashavat techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Hitoriri, hitoriri, ki va'orech u'miori uri uri shir daveri kivod Adonai alayach nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha u'tzola toch emunei segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela.
You can be seated. As we turn now to page 24, as we invite the angels of peace to come in and bless us with peace, and then to leave us and go to every place in this world that needs their peace.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitrem השלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון. מי מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
We turn the page for our Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
בלמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל. בעגלה, בעגלה, ובזמן קריב אמרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם עולם ימיה.
Yitbarach.
יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה.
Barichu.
לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה ואמרו.
Amen. We rise for our Baruch Hu, page 28.
לילה 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 ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד.
On the top of page 31, we read together, Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And we're grateful for the ways in which day and night we feel the light of your love through your Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 34, Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Emet. And so after the raven doesn't come back, Noah has to decide what to do next. So he decides that he's going to send a dove to go and circle the earth and look for dry land. And the dove comes back, but with nothing. There's no dry land. And so Noah sends out the dove again that circles and circles and comes back with an olive branch, showing that indeed there was an olive tree, that there was dry land, that it was safe for them to disembark. And so if you would, again, turn to someone. Hopefully you've already introduced yourselves if you don't know each other yet, and share with them something that you're grateful for, something in your world right now that you're grateful for. So that's the thing about living, is that no matter the circumstances, we can find something that we can find gratitude in. And I'll say that as our ancient Israelites got to the other side of the Sea of Reeds, they could have just kept going. They knew that there were going to be more challenges coming, and they could have just rushed to the next thing. But instead, they stood still where they were, and they sang the song of gratitude, the Micha Mocha, page 40.
Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay. You remember? Ay 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 ay, ya ba bim bam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, norat hilot o sefel, norat hilot o sefel, malchutecha rauvanecha, okei ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Zei anu ve'yamru Adonai lo leolam va'ed. Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam. Ay 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 ay, ya ba ba bim bam.
And we continue on page 42 with our people's lullaby, the Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'shalom V'hamidenu Shomreinu לחיים, לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו שומרנו לחיים,
So, of course, then the people disembarked, the family did, and so did the animals, and they were left to rebuild. And Noah was very afraid and didn't know what was going to come next. And Nama was afraid and didn't know what was going to come next. So God promised them with a rainbow that God would never again destroy this earth, but also said, it's up to us. What's human potential? What are we able to do on this beautiful planet to try to bring more love, more peace, more goodness? So that was from then up until this time the promise for each one of us. And if we bring that even into a micro level, for each one of us to think about, what are we looking forward to? What might we do, as Mary Oliver said, with our one precious life? And so if you think about that for a moment, that's the way in which we'll come into our Amidah, into our central prayer, thinking about what we're looking forward to and grateful for the kind of ancestry we've had who's taught us how to persevere, the way in which we always end every long string of prayers with a prayer for peace. In this way, I invite you to rise for our Amidah, page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, V'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'mevii Geula Livnei V'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo V'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, V'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim ravim. Somech noflim ve'ofech olim, u'matir asurim, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל HaKadosh.
So we continue now in silent prayer. And when you're finished with your quiet reflections, you can be seated.
Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, V'goali,
Rabbi Peter Noble of blessed memory used to have a tradition during the Misha Berach. He actually had everyone in the congregation hold hands. And you can imagine that some people loved this and others did not. So tonight, as we share the people who we are thinking of and maybe even ourselves who are in need of healing, I invite you, if you're comfortable and with consent, to reach out to the people around you in whatever way is most comfortable, so that we can feel the power of this community and the singing of this prayer. I'll invite you now to share the names of the people whom you are thinking of who are in need of healing. I'm going to go hold the hand of Rabbi Gelman as we hold all of them in our hearts as we sing the words of Misha Berach. Oh, I didn't know you were going to come up. I thought you might sit this one out.
No.
We're all coming.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Mm.
But now you have no hands.
Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Nisheverach imotenu v'kor habracha li'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. That's my favorite Misha Berach so far.
Shabbat Shalom. Just thinking back to high school, thinking back to a thing that I may have done, not my most excitedly proud moment, but I'm sure others did it as well, maybe. You could sit with me in the little bit of shame if you did. I remember it was math class, and I had done exceptionally well on a test. So well that I surprised my own self, and I didn't love math, so it was especially exciting. And I wanted to tell people. I wanted to tell my friends, look how good I did. That's not a really appropriate thing to do. Just like, hey, look at me. So I said, how'd you do on the test? So that they would say, I got a B plus. Oh, and how'd you do? Oh, I got an A. Thanks for asking. And I did it a couple of times until you, of course, get to someone who did not do well, and they're a little more ashamed to tell you, and then you're kind of stuck. Do I share my good news, or do I just hold back a second? This having excitement, this having joy while others are not living in joy is a question that we have been dealing in Judaism and in the world for thousands of years, and how much more so right now. How can we rejoice while others suffer? Whatever thing is coming to your mind about suffering, yes, that, whatever it is. And so how do we calibrate our own joy so it doesn't drown out someone else? How do we kind of seatbelt our excitement so that we can continue to safely be with others? It actually shows up in a surprising way in this week's Torah portion in Noach. as Rabbi Conover shared about how they came together, there comes a moment in chapters 6, 7, and 8 in Genesis. In chapter 6, it says, God says, I will establish my covenant with you, he's speaking to Moses, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. That's a little odd. You and your sons, and your wife and your sons' wives. All right. We go a chapter later, in Genesis 7, and it tells us that they came into the ark, Noah and his sons, and his wife and his sons' wives came unto the ark. Well, that's a little weird. Maybe that was just the way that this was generally written at the time. But then you go one more chapter further in Genesis 8, when they are coming off of the ark, and God says, say, go out of the ark, you and your wife and your son and your sons' wives. Wait, why twice do we get Moses and son and wife and son's wives? Why are they separate and then why are they together? So, of course, we're not the first people to wonder that question. So I look to Rashi, our 11th century commentator from France, who said that the men separately and the women separately went on because they were forbidden to live together as man and wife, since the world was living in a state of distress. They had to enter as separate to make sure there were no, as Rashi puts it, no marital relations on the ark. Because how out of tune with humanity would that have been as the whole world is flooding? People are drowning according to our story, and our couple and their family are just having a good old time. Rashi teaches that sometimes love or goodness or excitement waits, especially when the world is hurting. And we even see this later in the Talmud. In the Talmud, or earlier than Rashi, but later than Noach, that is, Al tifrosh min hatzibor. We are commanded, don't detach yourself from community. Align yourself with your community. And how much more so for this moment in time when Noach and his family are literally detached from the rest of the world who are underwater, that he should not detach himself from all of that distress. Of course, our tradition does not ban joy. Later on, we're going to do Kiddush. We're going to sanctify this day with wine to symbolize the joy of Shabbat. But rather, our tradition calibrates or helps us to calibrate our joy. In this flood time, we kind of put a seatbelt on our simcha, our joy, our excitement, so that our simcha doesn't push anyone further underneath the water. Because solidarity isn't the end of joy. We can be happy while sitting with those who are having difficult moments, but rather solidarity is the ethic of joy. And pure joy doesn't really work either. And pure sadness doesn't work either in that way as well. Just like at a wedding, one of the reasons that we stomp on and break a glass at the very end of the wedding ceremony, one of the reasons is to remember that even in this moment of pure, absolute love and joy standing under the chuppah, that there is still brokenness in our world. And this discrepancy hits us in weird ways sometimes. We might have received a promotion or a raise while our friends are facing layoffs or debt. And we get to share, but we know and we scan the room and we make sure we know who we're talking to and make sure we're in a relationship. Maybe we have engagements or pregnancies or new babies, but we know that there are friends, our community, who are working through dealing with divorce or infertility or recent loss. We let our joy be gentle when others' wounds are fresh. Maybe it's our own personal recoveries while others sit in chemo or in chronic pain. Maybe that bell that is rung for our own remission, maybe that can thunder for someone who is mid-infusion. We celebrate housewarmings among evictions. We hang the mezuzah on our brand new door frame. We also hang a commitment to those who are still searching for a door. And even today, this week, this month, in our Chicago neighborhoods, when families are ripped apart by masked federal agents who again deployed tear gas on our public streets, right here in Lakeview, on School in Lakewood, right down the street from us. We do what we can. We hold our joy and we stand with our neighbors, ready to record, maybe even blow a whistle. We go on, we spend our money in immigrant neighborhoods. We support those who are supporting our migrant neighbors. We check in on our family, our friends, our neighbors. We ask organizers and community leads, what do you need? What are the ways that I can help? We do things like volunteer with Nourishing Hope to make grocery deliveries. We show up for people where they are. And what makes this dichotomy, maybe this false dichotomy, difficult is it seems like it is pitting guilt against responsibility. But of course, guilt is not a mitzvah. Responsibility is. Expressing our grievances is not a mitzvah, but rather acting to repair the world is. It's not toxic positivity that everything in the world is perfect, but it's also not performative sorrow that everything is broken, every single thing is unrepairable. We know our communities can come together and will come together in joy over and over again in the future. We refuse both sides of that. We refuse to completely drown in joy, and we refuse to ignore the flood. The seatbelts that we put on our simcha, that helps us be in our positive, exciting moments, while remembering that there is brokenness in our world, they help make the ride safe for everyone. This week, I hope that you take a moment to choose one joy, maybe the seatbelt. One joy that, like at the Passover Seder, we take a drop out for each plague, taking that minuscule bit out, while still embracing the joy of wine, the joy of our lives. But enough that we have the ability to accompany others, accompany those in our neighborhoods, our Chicago community, wherever we are in the world, so that no one is drowning while we dance. Shabbat Shalom. Are we going to keep holding hands? No. All right. I truly knew that was coming.
Just wanted you to see
Yeah.
that side of myself.
Yeah. Friends, we are going to turn in our Sidurim to page 282, and then we'll flip to 287 after that as we rise on the bottom of the page for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Friends, we may be seated as we are in like prime season for being active members of our Temple Sholem family here. Tomorrow afternoon, we can join with Mindful Jewish Aging, the Temple Sholem community, to explore the spiritual gifts of life after 50, joining online tomorrow afternoon. And on Sunday, continues our Sunday Scholars series. And this week, along with last week and next week, in a 3-part series, is Rabbi Conover is our scholar, teaching a session called When the World Feels Unraveled, Ancient Jewish Wisdom for a Steady Heart. Because our tradition's been here before. We've got a lot to learn about how we can move forward. So you can join her online at 9:30 a.m. And then on Tuesday, you could continue your celebration with Rabbi Conover. Tuesday afternoon is an info session for our journey to Israel, for our trip to Israel, the trip is in June, led by Rabbi Conover, where this multi-generational trip is going to blend spiritual enrichment, cultural discovery, and meaningful connection, especially with having such a close-knit group on the trip. On Wednesday afternoon at 5, we're having a formation of a men's collective. This is a wonderful opportunity for those identifying as men in our congregation to come together in a meaningful conversation and build important community. And then on Wednesday night, we are co-sponsoring a session at Beth Emmet in Evanston on anti-Semitism, democracy, and Jewish safety, as we are co-sponsoring this event with which is inviting Hannah Rosenthal, who was the U.S. State Department's special envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism. So we're excited to learn from and be in conversation with her. And then finally, the very next event is happening in like 10 minutes, and that is Oneg. So after we conclude here, we'll all head right back into the room that we started in for some sweets and some schmoozing. So friends, in this week, there are many of those who are sitting with joys of the week and many moments of tearing, of hurt, and of difficulty because they have lost a loved one recently or remembering the yard site of a loved one. On this Shabbat, our Temple Sholem family is thinking about those who have passed away in the last month, the time known as Shloshim. Jeffrey Sanders, Jill Zwick, and David Ginsburg, whose funeral will be this Sunday. We're also thinking about those whose bodies have returned to their families as they have crossed the border from Gaza back into Israel in caskets rather than holding hands of their friends and family. Thinking about the families of Tamir Adar, Sachar Baruch, Itai Cohen, Amiram Cooper, Ronen Engel, Meni Goldard, Hadar Golden, Ron Gvili, Tal Haimi, Asaf Hamimi, Inbar Heyman, Eliyahu Margalit, Yehoshua Loitu Molel, Omer Neutra, Daniel Oz, Dror Or, Shuthisak Rin Talak, Lor Ruda F, Yossi Sharabi, and those whose yard sites are observed in this week now ending: Harry Allweiss, Eloise Bell, Erwin Blitt, Neva Buck, Kay Bucksbaum, Louis L. Cohen, Dr. David Kornbleet, Elise Dumac, Sally Forgash, Elizabeth Forgash, June Frankel, Gloria Goldstein, Miriam Goodman, Lorraine Gordon, Barbara Rich, Florence Hesser, Gilbert Greenfield, Ruth Grossman, Joseph Horowitz, Jean Kaplan, Marshall Katz, Laurel Krulwich, Saul Levitt, Leah Levy, Leo Lichtenberg, Fanny Lippman, Queenie Stanley Lustig, Evelyn Starr Marinson, Susan Beverly Matheson, Gail Nelkin, Joseph Nemerow, Leonard Oringer, Mary Oppenheim, Saul I. Phillips, Sophie Pinsley, Jeannie Plax, Mary Pollet, Lena W. Rabin, Dan Raggins, Louis Sulzer, Louis Werhane, Charles Samsky, Beatrice Schlesinger, Gina Rose Schambeck, Rachel Spolansky, Barry Sloan, David Snyder, William Stern, Stanley Gross, Ida Stock, Nancy Tellman, Michael Turner, Michael Weber, Norman Weinstein, Wendy Weiss, Sam Wolf, and Ida Yanow. If we have any names to add to our list of memory, I invite you to share their names aloud. As we turn to page 294, we rise in their honor as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala v'zman kariv v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal shmei d'kudesha
berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru. Amen.
Yehei shlam Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Oseh shalom b'mromav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol yoshvei tevel
v'yimru. Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru, imru, amen.
for our Kiddush, there is a fancy gentleman back there whose birthday it is, who I would love to invite up to lead us in Kiddush. The Honorable Joseph Morris.
Joseph, you are in great company. You share your birthday with my mother, with Helene Cohn. I mean, my goodness. It was a good day, October 24th. Hi, my dear.
Oh, I'm the United Nations.
Of course you have historical, political significance for us. Okay, so page 5, everyone.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadsho be'ahava u'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim kivanu vakata Tanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kadshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. L'chaim.
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 Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Thank you. Todah.
So you can be seated. I'm going to pull a little bit of an audible. Musicians, stay calm. I'm going to do this a cappella. But, you know, did everyone feel that shift of the chill in the air? And it's at this time of year that my heart starts to feel like some of our beloved community head to warmer weather. What do you call yourselves? Like, what is it? Snowbirds? Yeah, we're happy for you. But I want to send you off with a special blessing. If you are beginning to get yourself ready for a new winter chapter. And so if you would do me the honor of turning to page 345, those of you who are sitting here, you know that we're singing to you. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace, ravens and doves. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. We love you. Go get warm. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Finally, I'm able to unmute. It's okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Ah, Olga, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
How nice
Shabbat
to
Shalom,
hear you.
everyone. Have a good week.
You too.
Yeah,
Enjoy your martinis.
I will.
I
Bye.
know a gin one.
And my old fashioned.
Oh.
Bye. Bye.
Be well. Have a good week.
Hi, Joan.
Berta.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Hello.
Hello. Shabbat Shalom.
Have a good week, you
Shabbat
all.
Oh,
You too. Achman. Bye-bye, Jim. Have a good
Bye-bye.
week.
You too.
Be well.
You too.
bye.